just look so pretty. Under the sea. Under the sea. Hey, everyone, here to you, and welcome back to Let's Play Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion. In today's episode, we're now going to be exploring Line C. We're moving up in the world. Reach the goal with limited ink. In this area, the rules are simple. Run out of ink and it's game over. So please think carefully about whether or not you'll need to ink a wall before you climb it. Stay focused and ink with care. You mean like this? Whee! Alright, so now you know what not to do in this level. Before we move onward, I gotta say, the background is just so pretty. You can see the train tracks over there, and it's just so pretty. And there's Super Nintendos everywhere, and cartridges and controllers. It just makes me so happy. I can't exactly tell what the games are supposed to be on those cartridges. I don't know off the top of my head. Maybe I'll look it up, and if I can find anything, there'll be caption on screen here. It's a very fascinating caption indeed, unless there's nothing on screen, in which case I look like a dummy. Do whatever you can to conserve your ink. So this is an interesting level. You need to be careful about using your ink because obviously then if you're not careful then you're going to run out of ink and that's not going to be good for you. So what I'd like to do right here, distract the squeegee, or not because I didn't even notice the ink, so I guess we don't have to do that. I usually like distracting the squeegee right there, but it didn't even phase the squeegee that there was ink right there. So, it's lacking on its job. Okay, I think we can make this. Yep, we can make it. Yay! Alright, so you won't be able to refill your ink at any point during this, so just keep that in mind. Now, we could spam the ink on there, but there's a bubble right, but there's a ink balloon thing up there. It took me my third playthrough of Octo Expansion to realize that there was a balloon right there. There are new entries in the chat log, so I send them along and check them out sometime. Alright, we'll do that after the video is over, but next up is Mondo grindage, a radical rail station. Burst all the targets before the time runs out. Good luck! I'm gonna use this flasher. I have a feeling I'm gonna regret this, but this is my weapon of choice. You must destroy all 20 targets before the timer runs out. The timer will start as soon as you hop onto the ride rail. Once you're on the ride rail, fire away. When the rails are parallel, you can jump to switch rails. Intriguing. And, once again, pretty background, super gorgeous. You can see an adorable little squid kite right there. The lighting here is really cool. Yeah, it's just so pretty. You get the point by now. So, this is one that I have a bit of a hard time with. I think I struggled with this one during Octo Expansion, the verses on the game channel. So, hopefully we don't have the same problems here that we did there. Okay. So, my advice, stay calm. You're going to get another chance to destroy the boxes if you're patient. Just relax, focus on your target, and don't get overwhelmed because this is one that can be pretty overwhelming if you're not careful. So, let's take care of that. The big one, the center, is definitely going to be the one that's going to take the most time to destroy. Slosher probably isn't the most ideal one to use for this stage, but oh my goodness! First try! I struggle with that one all the time, and we did it on the first try! Click for joy! So cool, we did it on our first try and now we can take over the world! Anyway, next up, you like to move it, move it. We like to move it, move it. We like to move it, move it. We like to move it. I hate that song, but it's catchy, but I hate it. Avoid taking any damage for long enough and you'll pass the test. Keep a close eye on all enemy attacks. And if you can manage, try to grab at any power egg packs that you can see. Ignore that last one because that one tricks you. Wow, the lights. The lights in the background are so pretty. Man, that's probably gonna be like a catchphrase for this let's play. The background is so pretty. Okay, so for this one, we needed to last 30 seconds without taking any damage. And that might be a little bit problematic because my Joy-Con seems to like drifting a little bit forward. It's not that big of a problem right now. At least not as big of a problem compared to my other Joy-Cons. Eventually a sniper will join the battle, but my personal favorite strategy is to move a little bit out of time and jump back whenever you need to go backwards. So as long as you keep doing this, you should be fine. Again, I usually struggle with that one, but we did it on our first try. Oh yeah. Battery's almost dead. I'm gonna go grab my charger. Word. DJ Hyperfresh has left the chat room. And there's nothing to do when it's just me and you here, Cap. What do you mean? Ugh, I'm bored. But maybe I'll do a little research on you, see what kind of dirt I can dig up. I have nothing to hide. We'll see. The heck is this? The Squidbeak's platoon, led by 2nd Lieutenant Cuttlefish, visited grievous losses upon the forces of the enemy during the bitter siege of Arowana Castle. That takes me back. Dang, Cap, I guess you're the real deal. And now that we're taking care of all that, that's going to be it for this episode's portion of Octo Expansion. So I'm going to meet you guys in the imaginary land of alternate save file. Whoosh! Hello and welcome to the imaginary land of alternate save file. Today we're gonna be playing Part Macro. Isn't that exciting? But anyway, we're playing on Splat Zones, as that's pretty exciting, which means we're almost done recording this stupid map. We almost never have to say it again. Almost, I can taste it. Alright, so before we get into the weapon stats for this episode, I need to explain something. So this stage rotation was pretty special because one thing that I'm a bit concerned about this far into the Let's Play is it's going to be a bit hard for me to record these stages naturally without having to record with the James rolls or anything like that. And thankfully, both Port Mackerel and Mori Towers were available in Splat Zones at the same time, and we haven't seen either of those yet. So I spent like an hour or so recording footage for it. Within that entire time, Port Mackerel only showed up once. I love Mori Towers and all, but I was kind of hoping to have a little bit more variety with the stage rotation, and that brings me to something I need to talk about real quick. So, how the stage rotation works in this game is that there are 2 stages available in regular battles, rigged battles, and league battles, and they swap out every 2 hours. Normally, I don't mind this, because I love most of the stages in this game, and there's usually always something to do, and if there's not a stage that I like, then chances are Salmon Run is open, and I just play that instead. But in terms of recording a Let's Play where I want to demonstrate every single stage in every mode, yeah, it does kind of make me wish there was an option to pick any stage I want. Although in that timeline, I'd probably still be complaining because the stages that I would want to record, nobody is voting for them. But, c'est la vie. That's French for something. But anyway, now let's talk about the weapons for this video. We'll be talking about the roller line of weapons. Specifically, the Splat Ball, not Splat Baller, the Splat Roller, and the Carbon Roller. So that's exciting. So, roller weapons are pretty cool. And a bit of a fun story about them. The first time that most people got a chance to play Splatoon was during the Global Test Fire demo for the first game. This happened a couple months before the full game was released. They had a similar thing that happened with this game as well, which we already talked about in a previous episode. But during the Global Test Fire, something that was pretty funny was that they only had splatter shots and a splat roller available during the online demo. And something that was pretty funny was that after that happened, there were a lot of people on Miiverse concerned that rollers were going to be overpowered when the full game was released. It's just kind of funny to look back on because rollers, they are still a pretty great weapon, but they are by no means overpowered. There isn't really like a single weapon that everybody agrees on is like the most broken thing ever that should be banned from all tournaments forever. This game is fairly balanced for the most part. There are a few things here and there that I wish were a little bit different. Like, for example, I wish port mackerel never existed, but that's just one guy's opinion. So something funny about that is that you see on screen that somebody disconnected. So if you follow my social media, then you may remember a tweet that I wrote where I was describing my frustrations with this, about how port mackerel only showed up once during the entire time I was recording this, and how we were completely dominating them at the beginning of the match, but then somebody disconnected at the end, and it was very depressing. That was the footage that I was recording, so yay! But now on to better and brighter things. Oh, Moe Towers, oh, I love you so much, and you're the stage in Super Smash Brothers. That makes me happy. Alright, so the splat zones in Moe Towers works a bit differently compared to how it worked in the first game. So there are still 2 points where you need to splat to cover the ink and things like that. That's probably not the best way that I can describe that, but that's the best way that I can think of right now. So in the first game, I believe that there were still 2 of them, but they were a bit more spread out, whereas in this game they're a bit more closer to the center, but there's still 2 areas that you need to cover. So that's pretty much everything they have to say about that, but now let's move on to the actual weapons themselves, because we don't have a lot of time to describe them. The first weapon line is the Splat Roller family. This is the most basic roller you can use. It is perfect for beginners. A lot of people use them throughout the entirety of playing Splatoon, and there's nothing wrong with that. So the basic Splatter Roller comes with the Curling Bomb and Splash Downs unlocked at level 3. The Crack-On Splat Roller has a Squid Beacon and a Baller, unlocked at level 12. The Hero Replica Roller has a Curling Bomb and a Splash Down, and just like the rest of the Hero Replica weapons, you need to complete every stage in Octo Canyon with the Hero Replica weapon to be able to use it in online multiplayer. But even then, you still need to be over level 3 to be able to use it. And there's the Kansas Splat Roller. It has a Splat Bomb, a Bubble Blower, and is unlocked at level 14. This one actually replaces a weapon from the first game, the Koro Koro Splat Roller. And this is a bit of an interesting one, because the Koro Koro Splat Roller was the first instance of product placement in the Splatoon series. So not a lot of Nintendo games do this, but Splatoon is actually fairly well known for its product placement. The Koro Koro magazine in Japan had the Splat Roller weapon that had its logo and everything, and I believe Sheldon even referred to it as some kind of ancient weapon or things like that. It's actually pretty amusing. So, yeah, the product placement doesn't end there with the first game. There was even a SpongeBob vs. Patrick Star Splatfest in the first game, and that was the first thing of Splatoon that I ever recorded. And I think this game also had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splatfest at some point. We'll get into that later in the Let's Play when we talk about Splatfest, but that's just something that's pretty interesting. And the second weapon we'll be talking about in this video is the Carbon Roller. There are 2 versions. The regular version comes with an Auto Bomb and an Ink Storm unlocked at level 7. And the Carbon Roller Deco comes with a Burst Bomb and an Auto Bomb launcher unlocked at level 10. Now this one is a bit weird, because it kind of works like a regular Splat Roller, but a little bit more tricky to use. So this is probably the next step up from using different rollers if you still want to use that class of weapon, but you want to experiment with other ones. The Splat Roller, it will still splat enemies in one strike, but the rolling ability where you can crush Inklings, that doesn't splat with one hit anymore, so you definitely want to be careful with that. But if you have a Carbon Roller Deco, then my favorite strategy to use is to throw a Burst Bomb. Wait, no, I got this backward. Try using the crush thing, and that will bounce off the enemy, and then throw a Burst Bomb. That should be enough to splat your opponents unless they have really high defense. Also, Carbon Roller has very low range, so it's not really good in that department. So those are all the weapons we'll be discussing in this video. So now I'd like to talk about something else. So this might be outdated by the time this video comes out, because who knows, there might be a Nintendo Direct that makes an announcement at some point, but there was a picture Nintendo released around New Year's that I want to talk about in this video. Again, this is probably going to be outdated by the time the video comes out, and it's probably going to be very outdated by the time people in the future watch this video. But you see it on screen right now, there are these first couple pictures of the Squid Sisters and Off the Hook, kind of like standing around and smiling in a snowy environment. And it's a really cool picture now. I really liked that one. But the first one kind of made people suspect that Nintendo might be teasing a Splatoon 3 because they point out that Marina was not in the picture. And then they post another one of showing that Marina was the one who took the picture. So that's pretty amusing. But this other one that shows a salmon run environment, it obviously looks like a New Year's celebration, but in the water it says SOS, save our salmons. And this is a pretty interesting one because this may or may not mean anything. We don't really know at this point in time. And again, it's going to be outdated by the time the video comes out. But also, that right there, that's probably like one of the best uses I've ever seen of a suction bone. But yeah, we don't know if this picture means anything. It could be Salmon Run DLC, it could be a tease for Splatoon 3. Who knows at this point. You could probably imagine recording an hour of mostly Mario Tower matches. It was pretty difficult to find a good match that I wanted to use in this video, because they were all really fun. It was very hard to figure out which one to pick. But that's going to be it for this episode of Splatoon 2 Octo Expansions. So thank you all so much for watching this video, and until next time, later gear to you. Oh yeah!